From the Action 4 studios, Sports Director Clay Williams and Joe Bowling bring you the best in Valley High School football from the week past and for the week ahead. Highlights, analysis, and predictions from all across the Valley. It's time for Sunday Sports Extra.
And then there were four Valley teams left. Good morning and welcome to Sunday Sports Extra. I'm Action 4 Sports Director Clay Williams. With me, our special guest from the Monitor. It's Mario Aguirre. Thanks for joining me, Mario.
Thanks, Clay.
And, of course, Joe Bowling off on assignment. He was at San Antonio last night for the Weslaco Loretto United game. We'll hear more from those teams coming up a little later. But first, let's get to what everybody wants to know. Who's still in the playoffs and when do they play? Let's start with 6A Division I. Los Fresnos, the only team still alive in that division in 6A. They will take on the Reagan Rattlers. That is an old matchup. These two teams played in 2007 and 2008. They play again 2 p.m. Saturday at Javelina Stadium in Kingsville. Now in 6A Division II, we've got two teams left. Weslaco East will take on Cibolo Steel. That game's 7 o'clock Friday at Buck Stadium in Corpus Christi, while Brownsville Rivera will take on San Antonio Brandeis. Same time, up in the Coastal Bend, just a little further south, Javelina Stadium in Kingsville. And our fourth and final team still alive in the Valley 5A Division II. That would be Sherryland's Rattlers, 11-1, and taking on Cedar Park out of the Austin area. That game, 7:30 on Friday at Hero Stadium in San Antonio. One of the best games of the past week was a rematch of last year's playoffs. McAllen and Brownsville Rivera. The Raiders eliminated the Bulldogs in the first round last time. This time around, Dogs were down 15-8 in the second. Not anymore. Ricky Rodriguez becomes McHigh's all-time leading rusher, ties the game 15-15 at half. It was tied at 29-29 in overtime when Rivera quarterback Danny Elizondo, 3-yard touchdown, Raiders up 36-29. Fourth down, last chance for McHigh. Fred Hover to Ryan Puente, knocked away by Rivera's J.J. Salazar, and Brownsville Rivera goes 3 deep for the first time since 1999 with a 36-29 overtime win. Coach Tom Chavez, he's seen it before, but it never gets old.
Well, we've been doing it, like I said, did it against San Benito, we did it against PSA North, we come here and do it again, here at the last, and it just, you know, what can I say, man? I'm just so happy for our program and for the guys. It's all about them.
It's all about Tom Chavez, really. Take a look at the Rivera Renaissance. Rivera 3-1 in the playoffs in the last 2 seasons. Kind of reminds you of back when Chavez took Rivera to where they were the top team in the Valley, 96-99, when they were 5-4 in the playoffs. Mario, you can't say enough about what Tom Chavez has done with this team. We keep talking about the 0-5 start. Now they're 0-7. Now they're 7-0 ever since, and guaranteed a winning record.
Yeah, I mean, this has happened the last 2 years now. Slow start last season, slow start this year. I wasn't sure how they were going to manage without a Jacoel Evans, who led them last year in rushing. They had a lot of pieces on, and they made up with it. And now this year they did even better. I mean, they have the district title, even if they shared it with other teams. And now they're going to the 3rd round. It's pretty impressive. It
is very impressive. And when you think about the fact that they had to basically overhaul this entire offense, get it back on track, and Danny Elizondo to Edward Rubio, that is the #1 pass-catching combination in the Valley. They look pretty good.
And they've had the quarterback switches through the last couple of years. I'm surprised they were able to do it mid-season and not lose a step. That's pretty impressive.
It is impressive. But now, next up for Rivera, Cibolo Steel. Actually, I'm sorry, San Antonio Brandeis. Brandeis, one of the top teams in San Antonio. They've got this great running back that you're looking at right here. They'll take them on 7 o'clock Friday in Kingsville. Rivera has been getting it done with defense, but what will Rivera have to do to get a win against a team like Brandeis, Mario?
Just looking at the numbers, San Antonio Brandeis, they have a lot of scoring punch, and they also play good defensively. I looked at some of their numbers, and they allow 10 points per game, or they have for most of the season. They've allowed 98 points. Rivera is also stout defensively, so it seems like one of these is going to have to budge in order for either team to come out, but I think it's going to be a tight one.
It should be. So Brandeis' only loss on the year to San Antonio Brennan. That was just a couple of weeks ago. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about McHigh and the way they finished, and especially with some of the records broke. I already mentioned Ricky Rodriguez, the running back. He has now become McHigh's all-time leading rusher, passing the great Mike De La Fuente, who was rushing for McHigh at the turn of last century. I've always wanted to use that phrase, but from about 2000, 2001, and 2002. Now Ricky Rodriguez will be at the top of that list. Also, the quarterback, Fred Hover, when you think about what he's done, he has become the all-purpose yards leader in MAC High history. These two have done a great job for Kevin Brewer the last 2 years, Mario.
I mean, this is a good takeaway for MAC High, considering they lost last year in the first round. Now they're losing again to Rivera. Good for this team to come up with something to hang their heads on.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, let's talk about Weslaco East and Palmview. This one Friday night at La Jolla's Pack Stadium, where Palmview, 6-1 on the year until this game. Wildcats running back Lupe Marron injured his ankle in the first, but look at his backfield mate Alexis Cervantes took over a 39-yard touchdown there. East led at 21-0. Palmview, they lost their quarterback, so here comes the backup, Jonathan Ziski in. He threads the needle to Damian Quintanilla to put Palmview on the board, but they were trailing 21-6 at half. Weslaco East poured it on. Quarterback Darren Rivas had 2 touchdowns in relief, but Weslaco East rolls 56-6. They'll face Steele Friday, Buck Stadium in Corpus Christi, but up 21-6 at halftime was not enough for Coach Mike Burgett.
Just forget, how he is. And he just talked to us and told us we weren't doing good and we weren't sticking to our blocks and little things like that, and we just fixed them and second half.
We had a little conversation with them about playing East football. We expect our kids to play every minute. I don't care if the score is we're behind by 80 or we're ahead by 80. We expect our kids, and for the second quarter, we can let them get the momentum. So we had a little talk about that at halftime, and we got things fixed.
They got things fixed against Palmview, but now Steele coming up. I mean, this Weslaco East team, we've said before that they're one of the best in the Valley, and they're one of the Final Four. But do they have a chance against a big team like Cibolo Steele?
I don't think so, just because Lupe Marron more than likely won't play. He's had the ankle issues in the last few games. Since week 4, he's had at least 125 yards for that team. Even though they have a stable of running backs, that's still a pretty big hole to try to fill. Yeah,
Lupe Marron has been the game breaker. Some would say he's the MVP of the Valley for this season, if not a close second behind Trevor Spates. Yeah, without Marron to break the big play, it's going to be tough for Weslaco East. Cervantes, a great running back. He got it done by himself last year whenever Marron wasn't here. Darren Rivas might be the toughest QB I've ever seen, but they're both going to have to pick up some big slack. And that defense of Weslaco East, that has got a big test coming this Friday.
And this is also when you need a player like Lupe Marron, just because, like you said, he has the big plays, and against a defense like that, you need someone who could just break through stout defense. I think they're really going to miss him.
Yeah, so there you have it. Steele taking on Weslaco East. It will be Brandeis taking on Rivera. That's your 6A Division II. When we come back on Sunday Sports Extra, we're going to talk about, how about midnight for Cinderella, as Roma finally has their season come to an end, the best one in team history. Plus, breaking the streak. No more. The bane of Valley football goes down in a loss. It's all next.